So we are just gonna do a quick review of slope here. I'm not gonna do a ton, I'm just gonna go through what was the same thing that was on the quiz information. So we can find slope in 3 different ways. Okay, we can find slope from 2 points. So let's say I have the point -3, 5 and 2, -7. Okay, I'm actually gonna zoom in on this just a little bit so you don't see all that extra stuff. Okay, if we are given 2 points and we want to find slope, we can use a formula that says y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, where every ordered pair is an x, y. And because I have 2 ordered pairs, I have a first set and I have a second set. So I am going to start replacing these values. Now, I think it's sort of helpful to step a little bit away from the formula and just think about our format. Our format is that we need a fraction where we are subtracting 2 numbers. Okay, and on the top, we are always going to have our y's, and on the bottom, we are always going to have our x's. So I need to subtract my y values on top. So my y2 is -7, my y1 is 5. Then on my bottom, my x2 is 2, and my x1 is -3. Notice by putting those subtraction signs in there to start with, because I knew that was part of the formula, I'm still keeping my subtraction sign as well as my negative that's attached on my 3. Okay, and now I'm just gonna work straight across. So if you feel like you're not super confident with your operations with integers, use a calculator, whatever you need to use to sort of help you. Okay, but on top, when we do -7 minus 5, we'll get a -12. On bottom, we will get a +5. Now, we always want to make sure that our slope is in reduced improper fraction form. So if for some reason we get something that has 2 negatives, right, we should turn 2 negatives into a positive. And if we get something that isn't fully reduced, we need to reduce it, either by knowing how to reduce, or your calculator will reduce it for you if you just put in 12, ABC 8. And then slope is always in proper fraction form, so it might give you out the mixed number. You'll need to hit second ABC, and it will change it into its reduced format. We can also find slope from a table. So if we are provided some points in table format, okay, so maybe we're given this table and we want to find the slope from this table. We can actually just go back to this exact same concept we were doing up here and just know that in this table, we actually have 3 ordered pairs. We have an ordered pair here of 5, 16, 7, 22, and 11, 34. We just need to pull out 2 of them. So you can pull out whichever 2 make you happy, one that maybe has your favorite number. I'm gonna pick the top 2 points because right now they have smaller numbers. Okay, and then once I'm here, I can go back to my exact same approach. So I'm going to know that I need a fraction. I'm subtracting on both the top and bottom, where my top is the y's and my bottom is the x's. So 22 minus 16 and 7 minus 5. Okay, so on top, we'll get 6. On bottom, we will get 2. This does need to be further reduced, so 6 divided by 2 is 3, and so we will get a slope of 3. Now, a couple last minute reminders of things we just need to know. If we go through and we do this entire process, and we get something like 0 over 4, 0 divided by 4 is something we can put in our calculators, right? We get an answer of 0. So we can either write down the number 0 or we could write down the words no slope. If we go through this entire process and we get 0 on the denominator. So if I do 7 divided by 0, right, that is an error. I can't do that. So this is our undefined slope. Okay, the third way that we can find slope is by looking at a graph. So if we are given a graph and we want to find slope, it's going to be our job to find good points on it. Okay, so we want a point that's actually going through where values cross. So make sure we're finding 2 good points. So maybe I look at a line and I find a good point here and I find a good point here. My job is then going to be to count how much we rise to get from one point to the other and how much we run to get from one point to the other. Okay, so to get from here all the way up, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then how many over? I'm going to have to go over 1, 2. Again, keeping that in mind that slope is rise over run, I need this vertical motion on the top. Now, there might be some times where I'm looking at a line. Okay, I found my good points. And when I count, so I count up 1, 2, 3, 4. But now I'm counting left. Anytime that we are counting left or down, we are going to have to count it or account for that by making it a negative. Okay, so in this case, I'd have 4 over negative 2. And so that will reduce to a slope of negative 2. Now, you're gonna have some problems on this next sheet. The only one I'm super focused on is the front half of the paper, which is slope, though there are 2 on the back that are review with standard form as well. Those answers will be in the video, but they will not come up in the Canvas check.